Alrighty, this is the 2019 Stumpjumper ST Comp 29er. This bike, I had it for probably 3-4 months, and it was my main ride for that time, so I probably put roughly, 1,000 kilometers on it if I had to guess. But it's an excellent bike. The Fox 34 Rhythm was excellent. I had no concerns with it. The brakes, the Shimano, they're like mid-level between SLX and XT, I believe, and they've been perfect. 203 mils in the front, 160 in the back. The Fox DPS in the rear, X-Fusion dropper with a typical specialized seat there. The other side, it has Shimano 11-speed SLX. I'll do a flip around later, but this bike has performed flawlessly. I really like how dialed the cable routing was on it. So they basically pushed it through the frame to the back, comes out there. Just amazing attention to detail for the cost of this guy. I know typically they're a little bit more expensive than a giant brand, but I think you kind of do get what you pay for. The factory aluminum handlebars were amazing. I love the matchmaker on both the dropper and the shifting for the brakes. So basically you have really clean bars, only one mount on each side. Factory grips is one thing that I did end up replacing when I was riding it. They're okay, they're lock-ons, but they weren't the best. I would say this is perfect. This is like the short travels, 120 front and back mils suspension, and it's a perfect bike for somebody that's not doing any crazy drops or anything. Like, I definitely found the limits of this bike with anything over like a 3-4 foot drop. The other 2 cents on it is the tires. There's a specialized Butcher and Purgatory on the back. They're really not great tires. If I had my way, I would have had some Maxxis Minions. I much prefer them, and these are only 2.3 in width, and I don't know if it was the tire being poor or just the width being too small for the stuff I ride, but on corners and like off camber, the traction was actually pretty poor. Kind of made you lose it on the corners, but other than that, it's been great. I'll do a flip around here. I'll show you the other side. Alrighty, here's the other side. So, gotta look at that asymmetrical frame, beautiful. This 11-speed, I think 11 tooth to 46 is amazing. SLX, in my opinion, is shift quality-wise as good or better than SRAM GX. Kind of leaves the SX and NX, just blows them out of the water. There's really no comparison. The rims, I've had no complaints with them. They've stayed pretty true the whole time. I converted it to tubeless right when I got it. Race face cranks, also great. The thing to note is like these are the base Atlas cranks, I believe they're called, and the available booties for crankface cranks do not fit these. I think it's just their lower end spec. But again, beautiful routing on here. It's just, I don't know, it's without a doubt the best I've seen. Super quiet ride with this integrated chain slap protector. These humps really do quiet the chain down to nothing, and the drivetrain has performed flawlessly on this. The one comment is I think I did chip a couple of the teeth off the biggest one on some climbs. So it still shifts perfect and operates perfect, but just something to keep in mind. Dropper, 150 mils, excellent. And this bike is just a true climber. It is excellent in our local area. It's like flowy single track. I'll insert some ride footage here. And yeah, I have zero complaints about this bike other than the tires, really. That's kind of my main grievance with it. Like, obviously I didn't ride it with these plastic pedals that came with it. I had some race face Chesters on it, and those are much better. But the brakes, Shimano drivetrain are flawless. I don't know. I think my future bike will have SRAM just because that seems to be what's prevalent for the 20 models, but I wish that it would have Fox and Shimano. It's amazing. These dampers are perfect. And really, you pay for a little bit extra on this bike, but you get it. Beautiful stem. Like the kit on it is, I love it. And again, the Matchmaker, such clean bar setup. Both Cycle and Calgary did an excellent job putting this bike together. The cable length was perfect. And yeah, one other thing to touch on is there was it's a flat paint. And so I did end up putting an X-Spell matte product on it. I cut it myself. And it did save it in a lot of areas because this matte paint, I don't know if you see the one chip there, from the one area that I didn't put the protector on, it chips, and it chips quite easily. I believe I also have a small one there, but I put a lot of kilometers on this bike, and I really think it's my favorite bike I've had so far. Definitely, if you're looking for an efficient bike, it's kind of XC pseudo trail and you aren't doing super aggressive stuff, or your terrain's more rolling than it is kind of choppy like in the West Coast area, this is the bike for you. Like smooth single track, perfect. It climbs phenomenally well. The suspension performs extremely well. Really didn't use lockout on the climbs that much. It's just been an excellent bike. I'd really like just to emphasize again, Shimano and the Fox. I don't know what's going on with like industry reviews, but there's no comparison to how this bike shifts versus an NX or an SX bike. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the review.